So in terms of giving the possibility to have a possibility to access the data in terms of the availability and not like the cost. So it's a matter of availability and not a matter of cost, even if I am from the Ligurian region, and for Italian guys says that the cost is already important. So based on this open data, there is the FAIR approach, which is a traditional, typical approach, which is today available for everybody, is applied for all projects. FAIR is the acronym for findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable data, and all of us has to guarantee and to preserve these four main concepts. These key elements are based on the data availability, so we need to know where the data can be found. And the most important thing is to reuse data already available, not to recreate, because it's time consuming, it costs, and we want to preserve cost and exploit what is today available. To make this data accessible, so the possibility to re-access the data if these data are findable. To make the data interoperable, as the previous speaker said, we need to have the possibility to reuse the previous data and make it interoperable with the data that we have to collect. In this framework, there is a European directive, especially for public administrations, but also for universities, for public bodies. And this directive is mainly focused on open data and the reuse of public information. So based on this FAIR approach, the FAIR principles, we need to find a way to share the data that we have today and standardize it. This is the most important thing. We have already talked in the previous speeches that standards and interoperability are the two main keywords in research projects in order to reach the goal without missing the possibility to preserve money and time. In this context, there is the European Open Science Clouds and the Data Act. The Data Act is a key pillar of the European data strategy, and it will make a significant contribution in the digital decade's objective of advancing digital transformation. This is a quite interesting act, which was made available at the beginning of this year, the 11th of January, and it will become applicable in the next year, in September 2025. So the idea is to standardize, to provide guidelines in order to be compliant with the European regulations. Since the time is quite over, I'd like also to point out or to focus the attention on another interesting aspect, in my opinion, which is the license aspect. It means that every time we use data or we collect data, we say, okay, I've done it, this is my data, I can give you, but sometimes the license concept is missing or is not described properly. So, as you know, there are three main families of licenses, starting from the left to the right of this slide. We have copyrights, where all rights are reserved, till public domain. From the academic point of view, we sometimes miss this type of license concept, and in my opinion, it's really important to emphasize this concept, to attach the license once we created the data, and to check what the license is if we use data that have been already collected by other partners. And in this context, it's also important the compatibility of the data and the compatibility of the license. Interoperability means to be able to use the data, but also have the possibility to access the data and to reuse the data. So there is a specific website, I stress you on the Creative Commons license that was the middle of these three pillars. The Creative Commons give us the chance to add some rights according to our ideas, our knowledge, and so once we have a data, if the license is not already added, I encourage you to add this type of detail, which is not a boundary condition, but is really a pillar, in order to make this data understandable for all of us, not only in terms of the data content, but of the data availability and what I can do with the data. So at this website, you can also manage, you can select according to your ideas what you can do, what you would like to do, what you would like to give the chance to the speakers, the audience, or other partners to use the data, to share the data as well. So you have the possibility to create the license as you want, starting from the all rights reserved to the public domain. Okay, so to sum up, after the data license analysis, it's important to open the data. If you have the data and you attach a license to this data, you can share the data without any problem in terms of availability and rights. So three main key rules: make the data simple as possible. Engage early and engage often people, not only professionals or members of public institutions, and avoid misunderstandings. Okay, so these concepts are already known for all of you, but in my speech I'd like to point out also this aspect, because it is something connected to the next speakers, the invited speakers that you'll hear in a few seconds. So, based on what I said, first of all, choose the data set, create the data if you need to create new ones, apply an open license in order to be compliant with the European regulation, make the data available and make it discoverable, and then enjoy your analysis. Okay, so thank you very much.